No, good. Good for you. That is that. We'll wait for another 4 more minutes, and then we can begin that first 10-15 minutes of that session, which will just give you a rough idea about what we are going to discuss on. So, good afternoon. Okay. So there are other people whom I haven't wished everybody good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Today I don't know who else is I can't see. All right. Another 3-4 more minutes and then we will start. Actually, what we are doing is Guru had asked me a certain question. Now we are just going to do a small revision of that, and along with it I will also take what is called as a question related to the time frame, which Kalpana asked me yesterday. So these two questions I am going to attempt. So it will give us an idea about. Great. All right. One day we are going to do one chapter. So like we have done chapter 1 as of now. Chapter 1 consists of total 23 different verses. All right. Now second chapter which we are going to do today is a chapter which is consisting of 26, 27, 28, 29. My God, it's a bigger one. It is consisting of 34 total lines. So we will do that. So किसी का तो भी mic चालू है, found in the Dead Sea. So they have all been combined and put together, and we are just calling it Nagamadi. It's nothing like Nagamadi. It's a gnosis. It's called gnosis. It's books of knowledge which have come from far beyond the normal Bible times. It is beyond our normal thinking, and again it is talking about the birth and the death and this and that and so many other things. And after this, actually we are coming to an end of a very beautiful chapter called the Tripartite. So we will be ending that, and we will be slowly starting in another two days. I think we'll finish it, and we will be starting another new. So even if you join somewhere in the middle also, it does not matter, but you continue till the end of that particular book. It is basically a gospel, one gospel, small, maybe comprising of just 20 pages or so, not more than that. So you can join, it's not a problem. The timings normally are in the morning, so you can, if you want to keep a track of it, then Brito, you'll have to collaborate with Brito and find out because then only you will get the idea of the timings. Okay, now I'll just begin. See, there were two things which I said that I will clear. First and foremost, what we are going to do today is what is this thing which we are talking about. Yesterday when we began, I said Krishna number 1 and Krishna number 2 and so many Krishnas coming in the picture. So why do you really think there are so many Krishnas? Number 1. Number 2 is, what is the time frame? See, last week when I ended my satsang, at that time I had spoken about a time frame, and the words which I had used was the time frame is here and now. We are not talking about something in the past. So these are two questions which people have raised, so I'm just going to answer them for you. Let us say the first aspect of it. What is this thing which is called Krishna 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on and so forth? What is this thing? Let us see, there are there are various layers upon layers which have been brought about because of the creation. All right. So where did this creation begin? So it all began, God knows when. So let us not get into the time period like that when it began. But there is always a singularity which cannot be broken down. That means we call it an Advaita. Advaita is oneness. So oneness of everything. In our Sanatan Dharma we call it as the Supreme Divine Consciousness. Supreme Divine Consciousness means the singularity, the oneness, that one thing. Now you may call him, in Christianity, that one thing is called the Father. The Father. Okay. In every other religion it goes by different names. Now I am only going to talk about one or two religions. I am not going to talk about everything. We will just stick to Sanatan Dharma, that is one. And on the other side I am going to just compare it to say Christianity. What is this all about? So the first thing is called the Supreme Divine Consciousness. Consciousness means yes, I am there, I exist, I am always there. Bas. Don't try to go into the deeper aspects of it, because the more you try to think about it, the more confusion there will be. It is one and the final thing, terminal, last or the first. Okay. And it is also called the truth. It's also called the truth. All right. Yesterday I discussed about truth and falsehood. Falsehood has got multiple explanations and there are multiple entry points and exits. Truth is final. You cannot have multiple truths. One is a truth. The one is the truth. That's it. So this one thing is called the Supreme Divine Consciousness. In Sanatan Dharma we call it the Supreme Divine Person also. Why is he called the person? Because it is assumed that he is called person or Krishna. Okay, Krishna. So the Father is equal to Krishna. Okay. Now, can the Father, who is the one, create himself in that? Now let us say, for example, the one means this entire universe, end to end. Let us assume this. Okay. How can you see the one in that? You can't. You can't see the one in that. So he creates his image. That means he projects himself out, crystallizes himself, creates an image in this material world, in this second unmanifest, as we call him, the Supreme Divine Person, second divine unmanifest. In that he creates a person. In Christianity he is called the Son, S-O-N. In Hinduism he is called Krishna, projection, which is the projection. The place is called his abode, that is the second divine unmanifest. As a person he is called the Supreme Divine Person. Now he is Krishna. In Christianity he is called the Son, the Father and the Son. Also goes by another name. That another name is Christ. Okay, he is goes by a name Christ. All right. Now when the Christ, now let us say Christ is like fire, the fire with the power to burn, water with the coolness. These are powers associated with that thing. So the Christ has his powers. Similarly, Krishna has his powers, extensions powers. These powers go by the name of Maya or Prakriti, or in the first divine unmanifest and the second divine unmanifest is called by the name Radha. It's nothing but his own power. It's like this, one. It's one only. In Christianity, it is called the Holy Spirit. Now the spirit, now if in Hinduism we are calling her as a her नाम का कोई चीज नहीं है, him नाम का भी कोई चीज नहीं है. What is this her? Her is called Radha. There is no female person there. Similarly, the spirit is supposedly female, but it is not a female. There is nothing like a male or a female over there. I wrote an article last week and I got a lot of gali from people saying that how can you call woman as a negative force or something like that. It was not negative. What I had written was that there is nothing called a woman, there is nothing called a female, there is nothing like that existing. It is just for the sake of understanding it is given, so it is called the spirit. So if you remember, the Christians pray like this: in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Isn't that what they pray? Now in us, a spirit has no gender. Yes. So then we come to the layer number 2. Now these three people are in the second divine unmanifest. What is the meaning of the unmanifest? It is still not crystallized. उसका कोई form नहीं है, उसका कोई जगह नहीं है, उसका कोई, you cannot even see that thing. What are we talking about? With our senses and our mind and our body, we cannot experience it. Got it? Now we come to the second layer. The Father or Krishna creates another layer. This layer in our world is consisting of the first portions of the gods. Like Krishna creates his own image in this second layer. The name which he undergoes over there is called Narayana or Mahavishnu. He goes by various names over there. So he is called as a Narayana. Narayana being the first offshoot of this. Again, remember, he is the first divine unmanifest. So again, don't think that there is a person called Narayana. No, not yet. He is still not formed. So in this middle layer now, we have Narayana and his offshoots. He gives birth to all the creatures over there. That means the gods over there and the demons over there and everybody. So in this second layer is a layer of Rakshasas, is a layer of demons, is a layer of gods, is a layer of all the divine creatures. They all have powers. The powers are coming from the spirit. They're coming from the spirit level. So Maya, or what we call as Prakriti, or what we call as Radha, that power is percolating down to this level and it splits up into number of entities. Like say for example, a Mahavishnu will have a Mahalakshmi with him. Mahavishnu is the sustainer. A Mahalakshmi is the goddess of wealth, grandeur, glory, so on and so forth. Right? Now Mahavishnu has a son, Brahmaji. Now again, I am not going to give you the definition of Mahavishnu को विष्णु कब बोलते हैं, महाविष्णु क्यों होता है, वो नारायण क्यों बन गया. It's going to complicate the matters further, so let us not get into all those semantics. Okay, so let us just think about only one fellow over there called Narayan, or he is given birth to his son whose name is Brahmaji. Brahmaji in turn has his wife. Complication arises when he's created one being called Saraswati, who would be called his daughter, is also called the wife. So too many complications, so let us not get into it. Otherwise, Francois Hollande will have to have another, he will have to sanction some more. One sec. Okay. And there are 14 countries which have sanctioned the same gender marriages. Now they will have a problem over here. But like incestuous relationship is also allowed. That is a problem. So, so here we have a Brahmaji. Yeah. Hello, Lakshmi. Um, so Brahmaji with his coterie means he has got a lot of sons, by the way. Now sons means another layer of powers individually separated out. Got it? These come in layer number 2. Then we come to the last person in this category. The last person in the category is a person who has to do the production of these worlds. So the worlds are created. So the trees and the animals and the birds and everything gets created. And so the man gets created. So if you follow the track, you will come to know that Brahmaji down the line created a son who in turn created this whole layer of human beings and creatures. All right. Again, we will go back slightly and think about how this looks like in the other religion that we are talking about. In that, they are called, the second layer is called aeons. A-E-O-N-S. Aeons. The word aeon also translates into an ages. Ages. A-G-E-S, ages. So 4 yugas make one aeon. Got it? So 4 yugas. Satyug, okay, Treta, Dwapar and Kali Yuga would make one aeon. Now the moment I said aeon and the moment I said Mahavishnu and the moment I said Narayana, one figure came in front of your eyes or no? Some picture came in front of your eyes and you are thinking about some man. He looks like a human being. Again, now I am telling you an aeon is an unmanifest thing. So how can you have a picture of a person over there? So the aeon is translated into logos. So the logos, and below that there are a number of aeons. The last aeon is called Sophia. So I don't want to confuse you. Now the moment I say Sophia, it looks like a woman. Logos आदमी लगता है. Hercules का जैसा कोई तो भी रहेगा. Don't try to use your mind and your senses and your intellect to think that they are men and women. Okay, so let us not do that. So this is the second part of it. Now we come to the human beings. So in the second layer, that means the first one was at the top, or which we call it the second, divine unmanifest. Krishna number 1, Krishna number 2 came into the picture. In the third one, he is coming as Narayana, Vishnu and all those other forms. They are all only his forms. Now we come to the third layer, which is called the layer of our creation. So in the creation, he manifests himself. So his name, the person who manifests himself, is also called Krishna. So now how many Krishnas have come into the picture? Multiple. So we can definitely have, Mission Impossible 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ऐसा करके चलते रहेगा. So like that, Krishna 1, Krishna 2, Krishna 3, Krishna 4 ऐसा हमारे लाइन में भी चलता है. So in the same way, we have multiple layers of Krishna. Okay, so this is to be understood. This was the background. Second background that you need to understand is this. Let me again go back 3 steps and try to tell you the father, or what we call as Krishna number 1.
These layers, the 1, 2, 3 Krishnas, are all purpose based, right?
No. Let me explain this portion, then you ask me. Okay, this portion which I am telling. Okay, the first layer is called the father. Father and the son, or what we call Krishna number 1 and Krishna number 2, which Krishna number 2 is equal to Krishna Pans Radha, right? Now what happens over here is, the moment Father or Krishna number one is thinking in the sense something happens, a thought appears. The moment a thought appears, the creation of the aeons have started. Now, the moment the thought appears, the aeons have started. Now let us say one thought which appears for, say, Krishna number one, that is Father. The Father says, let us say he says soft drink, Coca-Cola. Now the moment he says Coca-Cola, what is the thing that happens? First that happened was the word came out. Isn't the word coming out first? Thought creates a word. The word in turn created something else. What was that something else? A picture, a sort of an entity, a sort of a being was created, isn't it? So now think about it. What was the being? It was called a bottle of Coke. So how do you do it? So you go to the market, buy a Coca-Cola and come and drink it. Yes. So when you drink it, you will be satisfied. So the thought created a wave, isn't it? A wave got created. So the moment I am saying all these words, do not put human beings or characters into play. The moment you put some sort of a character key, and let us say Krishna is a human being kind of a person, he's got some blue halo and things like that, and he's टेढ़ा मेढ़ा खड़ा रहता है और उसके हाथ में एक फ्लूट है, ये सब मत सोचो, सोचना छोड़ो. The moment you start thinking, you're going to get into trouble. So I think you got the gist of it. So the thought, so the first thing is called the thought, and the thought creates the rest of the things. So it creates a word, it creates a sound, it creates a vision, it creates a person, it creates an object, and then the object gets used, and then so on and so forth. So the multiple things happen. Now what happens in this material world? So I am now answering the balance of the first question. Even in you and me, we also have thoughts. Okay, what are the thoughts that we have? The first thought that we have is, my exams are going to be very tough. Immediately. Or, oh my God, now fear, the thought of fear, I may lose my job. It's called the creation of the thought. It creates into a word, it creates into an action, and the action gets performed somewhere outside. So there are two types of thoughts. One is called the thought with vikalpa, thought construct. Alright, so you are constructing something with the thought. So vikalpa. So if you have a thought with a vikalpa, it is a destructive thought. That means something gets created and something gets destroyed. So suppose you have, the moment you say Coca-Cola, the Coca-Cola got created, you drank it, finished it off. The moment you finish it, it's gone, isn't it? So there is nothing left over there of Coca-Cola. In the same way, the moment a person says, let's say for example, I was giving an example today in the morning to Brito. The thought is that I am in love. So any person who is in love, a man is in love with a woman, a girl is in love with a boy, goes on. Now when they are in love, what happens? They want to merge with each other. They always feel incomplete without the other person, isn't it? They will always say, oh, I wish my boyfriend was here, I wish my boyfriend was here, I wish my boyfriend was here. The girl will say, and the boy will say, oh, I wish my girlfriend was here. And they keep on trying to meet each other continuously, right? A time comes in their life when their craving for each other has gone through the roof. So they actually want to come together. All right. So they say, I want to come together with this person. Now what happens in the material world is, coming together terminates into marriage. The boy and the girl coming together would be a marriage, isn't it? The moment you get married, it's called the end of love and the start of marriage. Okay? Love is finished because you have terminated it by getting married. Now you are trying to merge with each other. And you try merging with each other till the end of your life. There is more repulsion than attraction. So I know I'm not saying that this is exactly how it works, but you have to understand that these are two bodies. The bodies cannot merge. Please understand this. So the inadequacy is always going to be there till eternity. It's never going to finish. This is a vikalpa. A vikalpa has created a material worldly thought. The thought says, I want to merge with this other person. Merging never is going to happen because it's a vikalpa. It is going to be a beginning, the middle and the end of it. There's always a termination point. Now we come to the second part, which says, God, the Father, his thought is nirvikalpa, without thought construct. There is no motivation in that thought. All thoughts of vikalp are with motivation. All thoughts of nirvikalp are without motivation. There is no ulterior benefit. There is no something hidden over there. So you will find that nirvikalpa creates objects which are non-perishable. They cannot get destroyed. Alright? Whereas all vikalpas will create objects which are, at the end of it, they can be destroyed right like this in a moment. So this is how the whole creation is. This entire book called the Srimad Bhagavatam is in the second domain and the third domain. That is the second layer and the third layer. Everything is going to come to an end because all aeons and their downlines, or all gods and their downlines, are incomplete in their powers, are incomplete in everything. Krishna number 1 and Krishna number 2 always remain. The Krishna number 3, which is all the avatars of his, are not going to remain. Krishna number 4 in the material domain is also going to perish because they have all been created for a purpose. The moment the purpose is served, everything is finished. Got it? So now I think you got the gist of it. Now the second question I am going to answer, that is, how did this thing happen? What time frame are we talking about? I told you this entire book that we are going to do is Srimad Bhagavatam is not about the past. Three things again. You should read today's blog which I have posted. It will give you an idea about these things. Alright. How does the first thing happen? We are always going to look at the story as a story alone. Okay. So an ignorant person will always look at this book as a story book. He is going to say, oh, I heard stories of Ram, I heard stories of Vishnu, I heard stories of Narada, every other story I heard. So the story is there. And he is happy by listening to the story. He is like a child. You tell a child, Ek tha Raja, Ek thi Rani, and something, and the child is very happy with it. So a very ignorant person, that is basically who is covered with ignorance, this person will always look at these stories as a very simple story. Then there is a second type of a person. The second type of a person looks at these books and says, there is something there. There is a moral to the story. Moral to the story. So the story book is teaching us something. It's teaching us something. So can I do the laws pertaining to it? So the person says, how was Ram? He was an Agyakari Putra, isn't it? Okay, a single woman man, and so many things. This creates a religion. This creates a religion. So the middle level people create this book as a religion. So everybody who looks at these books as mythology will consider them as a story. Number 2% will consider it as, can I take out some meaning out of it? So there are some meanings in it, and what are those meanings? Can I apply them to my life? So he takes out meanings and he creates a religion. So a religion is born of do's and don'ts. Then there is a third kind of a person. The third kind of a person says, this is not a story. It is a coded document. It's a codex, coded document. It is telling me the secret about the Father. It's telling me the secret about the self. It's telling me the secret about the truth, the ultimate truth. So I have to find out the truth in that. So what he does is, he goes through the book, knows the truth, then he gets confirmation of the same truth inside of him. The moment he gets the confirmation of truth inside of him, he says, yes, I have understood now. So these are three kinds of people. Got it? The third one is called the knower of truth. All right? He doesn't bother about religion. He doesn't bother about anything. He knows this is not a story. The story is for the ignorant. Let them hear the story. It does not matter. So there are these three kinds of people in this world. So the time frame, if you are of the first kind of a person, you will definitely tell me this is of a time frame when millions of years ago there was this God. So God is a mighty creature, and he created himself in the form of a fish. लो, उसको फिश ज्यादा पसंद है, इसके लिए वो अपने आप को फिश बना के रखा. So there is a Matsya avatar. The first person enjoys fish curry, so he gives fish curry to that person to enjoy it. And so the Matsya avatar becomes a story for the first person. Beautiful story. For the second person, he says, oh, this is not a story. This is something which is going to teach me about religion. When God came on this earth, he brought about ruling. He brought about this type of things, and Hiranyakashyap and Hiranyaksha and Ram and Ravana and everybody else, So he comes up with, you cannot kidnap somebody else's wife. Okay, let me write that law down. So he creates a religion. The second person did that. And the third person said, I'm sorry, this has nothing to do with million years ago. It has nothing to do with 6,000 years ago. It has nothing to do with even a man called Ram or Narayana or somebody else. I don't care about all these things. God is trying to tell me something very, very secret. It's a secret document. So what is he talking about? He is talking about the truth. The truth is one. Remember, we started from this one, which is called Advaita, singularity. If the truth is one and I am in that singularity, can I be a second creature? No, I am the one. I am the one, and this story is about me. So he applies every story that he sees over there to his own inner being, that which is happening to him. Now you tell me, you are listening to it just now. Do you want to be the first person who wants to listen to the story? Then you can go to your mother and father and her grandmother and say, Nani, Nani, मुझे story बताओ ना, वो राम की, सीता की, हनुमान जी की. And you can go to your grandmother and listen to the story. If you are the second kind of a person, then you should go to church, or you should go to some temple or some priest over there, or maybe some person who gives you satsangs in all these channels, and listen to them. Okay, कौशल्य का राम था, उसने ऐसा किया, हनुमान जी ने ऐसा किया, वैसा किया. Yeah. Oh, so you want to listen to that part and you want to do your do's and don'ts in this world, then you have to go and listen to all these Bapujis on all the television channels and all these Swamijis and all these priests and everybody. They will tell you the second part. There are the do's and the don'ts. But we are here to do the third part, which is called Adhyatmik. Adhyatmik, Atma mein, the soul, the inner being. Everything is happening in you, nowhere outside. So all these stories are nothing but codexes. They are hidden knowledge happening inside of you. So yesterday when I started the first part, I told you let us take it at face value and do this chapter. Got it? So I think now also you will understand that we are actually going to do it as it is in the first part. In the second part, we are going to think what is it that they are trying to tell us from the second person point of view, and then we are going to apply it to our own being. What is actually happening? So now you think about the time frame. Is the time frame just now, or is it happening millions of years ago? So you will find the answer is right here, right now, at this moment in time. So even if I am telling you a story of Narada, there is no Narada who is a billion years old. Okay, we are talking of a Narada because you are doing Adhyatma. So this Narada is here and now. You are that Narada, you are that Vishnu, you are that whatever 21 or 22 avatars that we are going to do. So don't worry, you will tomorrow be a Kalki also. Don't worry about that. So, so you want to be Parshuram also, I don't mind. Okay, but please don't apply that intellectual property rights on this. ये तो बोलेगा मैं हूं तुम नहीं कर सकते हो. No, everybody is one and the same, so it's just an application. So I think I have answered these two questions. It has taken me more than 25 minutes. So so now let me start with this because we have to go through this. All right, if you have any questions, write them to me. I will try to answer them for you. Or if it is a general question, then I'll answer them for you in a general forum. Okay, so we are going to do chapter 2, Canto 1. This is first in chapter 2. So Ugra Shrava, that is Sutta Goswami, you are saying something. Where does bhakti play a part here? Bhakti means what? Bhakti is defined as knowing
You need an
this.
object.
Yeah. So for understanding purpose, we need to bring that thing down to the base level. So we need to create this object called Krishna number 4. Otherwise, how can I see the unmanifest? So the unmanifest has to come to me, isn't it? If the unmanifest doesn't come to me, I won't understand a thing. So the divine unmanifest comes to me. So if I go to him, I have to consider him in the form of, yesterday if you remember, Sutta Goswami went to his guru. He was very humble and he had surrendered to his guru. Then the guru was giving him the knowledge. So here also bhakti actually translates into that. It means we are going to solicit the divine consciousness for giving us that knowledge. We are going to be devoted to it. We will have single pointed devotion. We will be in love with it because it's only one. It is God Almighty. So we are going to be completely devoted to it. So bhakti will play the highest part in this, the uppermost part in this. If you don't have bhakti, then first you will not like the story. Then you will say this is bullshit story. ऐसा टाइप का फिश, तुम्हारा भगवान फिश था क्या? डुक्कर था क्या भगवान? Think about it. It sounds so crass, isn't it? Oh, your God was a pig, huh? I eat ham. So every day I have your God for breakfast. कैसा लगेगा? खराब लगेगा. तो ये जो कर रहे हैं, whatever book that we are doing, we have to have bhakti in us to get to the sweetness and the truth behind it. So Sutta Goswami could achieve this. So now we will continue. Okay, we have to do about 32 lines in this. It's quite far. So Ugra Shrava Sutta Goswami, the son of Romana Harshana, being fully satisfied with the perfect question of the Brahmanas, thanked them and thus attempted to reply. So now they are sitting in this Naimisharanya and they are going to talk about these things. So Sutta Goswami is now going to give a discourse to these other rishis who are sages who are sitting over there. Sutta Goswami said, "Let me offer my respectful obeisance unto the great sage." Who is the great sage? Sukdev. That is the one who has given him this knowledge, who can enter the hearts of all so that everybody can understand. When he went away to take up the renounced order of life, sannyasa, leaving home without undergoing reformation by the sacred thread or the ceremonies observed by the higher caste, his father Vyasdev, fearing separation from him, cried out, "O my son, indeed only the trees which were absorbed in the same feeling of separation echoed in response to the begrieved father." The father is Vyas Muni. Vyas Muni is crying that his son is going away, he is becoming a sannyasi. Now what kind of a sannyasi he is becoming? He is an avdhuta. He doesn't wear clothes, he doesn't do anything. He literally roams around free. So, at that point in time, when his son is going, father is very much grieved. He is saying, "Oh my God, why are you going? You are my only son." So, what does he say? "Let me offer my respectful obeisance unto him, Sukdev, the spiritual master of all sages, the son of Vyasdev, who out of his great compassion for those gross materialists who struggle to cross over the darkest regions of the material existence, spoke this most confidential supplement to the cream of Vedic knowledge after having personally assimilated it by experience." So, father had told him the story. Father had told Sukdev, that is Vyas Muni had told the story to Sukdev. After he told him the story, Sukdev did not sit over there. What did he do? He cogitated on it. He went over it, he went over it, he went over it continuously. What is my dad saying? What is my dad saying? So on and so forth. And after Vyas Muni went through this whole story, Sukdev Goswami, that is Sukdev, his son, went through the process of assimilating the information that was passed on to him. And then he has transferred it further ahead. So now whatever the knowledge that has come is actually digested knowledge. We are given a knowledge which is free from all those nuances which we are not going to understand. We are going to understand this very simply as a story. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, Narayana. Unto Nar Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto whom Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Vyasdev, the author. So before you begin anything, you have to offer, your prayers to the one who is the most important. That is, first is Krishna in the first domain, isn't it? Then you have to offer to the second domain, that is in the middle layer where he is called Narayana. And then our father, the father of the human beings, is called Nara Narayana. Nara and Narayana, the person who gave birth to our human beings. So we have to offer obeisance to him also. We have to offer prayers to him. His wife is called Saraswati, okay, the goddess of learning. So we are going to offer to her. And then finally we are going to offer this to Vyas Muni, because he is the one who has given us this beautiful text. So sages, I have justly questioned you by you. Your questions are worthy because they relate to Lord Krishna, and so are the relevance to the world's welfare. Only questions of this sort are capable of completely satisfying the self. The supreme occupation dharma of all humanity is that by which man can attain the loving devotional service unto the transcendent Lord. Such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted to completely satisfy the self. So it should be, remember my 4 words in our previous satsang we had said, the 4 words that are very, very important. You have to do single pointed devotion, complete surrender. What is the third one? Faith. Correct? What is the faith? It should be absolute faith in the divine. And what is the fourth one?
Love. It's unconditional love.
Unconditional love. So these are the 4 things that are very, very important for us to reach him. So now when we are doing this, what we are supposed to do means we are supposed to do our dharma, our occupational services. So swadharma, that which comes to us naturally, we are supposed to do those things naturally. When we are doing all this, man can attain loving devotional service. After he does his swadharma, when he does his Swadharma, he gets this very beautiful gift of what is called as the devotional service to the Lord. The Lord is granting his grace, he is putting his grace on this person. When the person does his Swadharma, then at that time God grants him this. What does he do? He tells him about himself, to do devotional service to him. Got it? So, by rendering devotional service unto Krishna, one immediately acquires causeless knowledge and detachment from the world. Causeless knowledge. Knowledge which is not having any cause. Remember, we were doing one knowledge which is vikalpa, perishable knowledge. Second knowledge is the imperishable knowledge, the knowledge about the truth, the divine consciousness. It's the final knowledge, absolute truth, absolute truth. There is nothing like, beyond that there is nothing. It is the truth. So he is going to give this causeless knowledge of the truth and detachment from the world. If you are attached in the world, you are going to get butchered, because then you will not have Krishna with you. So your devotion is not going to be single pointed. The occupational activities of a man performed according to his own position are only so much useless labor if they do not provoke attraction for the message of the personality of Godhead. What is this line all about? This line is very clearly telling you, you may be doing any kind of service in the world. But in the previous line we said, only if you are doing your Swadharma will the great God, that is the Father, or Krishna from the Supreme Divine Consciousness, they are both, number 2, he will grant you his grace. Got it? In this line he says, the occupational activities a man performs according to his own position. Person decides for himself, this is my job, this is my job. He thinks that he knows what his job is going to be. It's like there are people who are supposed to be maybe fishermen, but instead of being a fisherman, they are going and working for say a pottery making unit. So are they doing the right thing? No. So where is the question of any grace falling on them? So like Padma said, seva, service unto Krishna. You are not even doing the service of your what is called as your dharma. Your swadharma you are not attempting at all. So when you are not attempting, why do you think the grace of Krishna will be there on you? So to acquire that grace, you need to be doing your swadharma. So in this line, he is very clearly telling you, the occupational services, activities a man performs according to his own position are only so much useless labor if they do not provoke attraction to the message of the personality of Godhead. Got it? All occupational engagements are certainly meant for ultimate liberation. That means any kind of swadharma that you are doing is all going to lead you to the ultimate liberation. Okay? They should never be performed for material gain. So please do not perform anything for material gain. If you're going to do anything for material gain, I want money, I want this, I want that, want, or all kinds of desires, you are not doing any service unto any God. You are doing it to your own stomach, your own life, your own family, your own children, your old. So you are going to do it only for selfish purposes. This is non-selfish. You are doing it because it is your occupation, your swadharma. Swadharma does not mean trying to make money. Okay? They should never be performed for material gain. Furthermore, according to sages, one who is engaged in the ultimate occupational service should never use material gain to cultivate sense gratification. So any person who is doing anything, let us say for example, I am doing a certain service to somebody, and the moment I do the service to that person, I feel so happy that I have done this. You see, I am not getting anything out of this. Yet I am doing it because I feel so happy doing it for him. Okay? Do you think that is self-gratification or no? At the end of the day, even the moment you open your mouth and say, oh, I am doing it for free, I am not getting anything out of it. The moment you even say the words, you have destroyed the entire essence of this. Do not even say the words. Do not even have this thing in your mind ki, oh, I am doing it because God has told me to do. God has told you to do? So you are doing a favor to God? Is that what you are trying to do? You are doing a great favor to God Almighty? No. Do not have this idea in your mind also. You are not doing anybody a favor. You are not doing anybody anything. So in this line they say, furthermore, according to the sages, one who is engaged in the ultimate occupational service should never use material gains to cultivate sense gratification. Life's desire should never be directed towards sense gratifications. All your life's desires should never be directed towards sense gratification. One should desire only a healthy life or self-preservation. Since a human being is meant for inquiry about the absolute truth, nothing else should be the goal of one's work. So every job which is directed towards making money, taking care of the family, or food, or shelter, or clothing, or whatever, everything is only for sense gratification. What you should have is, you should have a healthy lifestyle. Means what? Don't keep on falling sick. Don't say भगवान ने मुझे है ना ऐसा रोग दिया है या ऐसा दिया है. I am going to live like that. I'm sorry. You better be healthy, because if you want to meet God, you better stand on your feet when He comes to see you. Don't be lazy. तुम ऐसा डेथ बेड के ऊपर बैठे, अच्छा तुम अब आए हो, ऐसा करके है ना वो निरोपराय के जैसा बोलने का नहीं. समझ में आया? Okay, and don't ham over there. So if you want to ham, you are not meeting God. You are just giving a ham picture to Him. No, you have to only ask for, can I have a happy, good mind, body and soul? Good, so that I can be attached to you, dear Lord. So life's desire should never be directed towards self-gratification, sense gratification. One should desire only a healthy life or self-preservation. उतना ही खाना जितना चाहिए. Got it? What do we do? पेट भरने के लिए खाते हैं. No, only for self-preservation. 50 कपड़े लेने की जरूरत नहीं है. 2 या 4 कपड़ों में अगर तुम्हारी जिंदगी बसर कर सकते हो, if you can carry on with 2 or 4 clothes in your life, that's worth it. So, as a human being, your life should be only for self-preservation, preserving your body, mind and soul intact for meeting the God. Don't have that greed in you. Since a human being is only meant for inquiry, what is the human life for? The human life is for the inquiry, quest for God. I want to know the truth. I want to know the truth. I want to know the truth. This is all the need that is there. Being is meant for inquiry about the absolute truth. I told you the absolute truth is the final truth. It cannot be broken down any further. So it is singularity, Advaita. Nothing else should be the goal of one's work. So whatever work that you are doing has to finally lead you towards this truth. Learned transcendentalists, that is the sages, who know the absolute truth, call this non-dual substance Brahma, Paramatma or Bhagwan. So you can call him by any name. You can call him Father, you can call him Krishna, you can call him Bhagwan, you can call him Paramatma, you can call him Super Soul, you can call him whatever you want to. So these people are calling him Brahma, Paramatma or Bhagwan. The seriously inquisitive student of sage, well equipped with the knowledge and detachment, realizes this absolute truth by rendering devotional service in terms of what he has heard from the Vedanta Shruti. So who are the people who are teaching you? They are called the Gurus, or the one who is telling you these stories, the one who is taking you on the path towards the spiritual. So the seriously inquisitive, those who are really very keen on getting this knowledge, they should be very serious inquisitive people, students of or sage. They are the sages. So those who are actually keen on getting this knowledge of this absolute truth, these such type of people, well equipped with knowledge and detachment. So they get the knowledge and detachment. Okay, detachment will come, knowledge will be flowing to you. They realize the absolute truth by rendering devotional service. That means they are doing seva. Padma had written seva means service to Krishna. Here Sutta Goswami and Sukdev is translating it into those who are telling you this Upanishad truth, the truth of the Vedantas, Vedantic, Ant of the Veda means the Vedas have ended. The framework, how are they? The truth about the framework. Okay, so these are the Vedanta Shrutis. So anybody who is telling you have to render service unto him, you will get this knowledge from that person. O best among the twice born, it is therefore concluded that the highest perfection one can achieve by discharging the duties prescribed to one's own occupation according to caste divisions and orders in life is to please the personality of Godhead. Now you know why I am so much insisting on starting this website. See this line. O best among the twice born means he is talking to the sages. Correct? Sukdev Goswami told Sut Goswami, Sutta Goswami is telling the sages. So he is telling them, please, I am concluding this, that the highest perfection one can achieve. You can achieve the highest perfection in your life by discharging the duties prescribed for one's own occupation. Swa dharma, खुद का धर्म करने का, दूसरे का नहीं करना. Don't try to do somebody else's service. You are supposed to do your own service, which is your own occupational service, swadharma, according to caste divisions. Now you will understand why I am talking about caste divisions. We are not talking about Brahman, Kshatriya, this, that, from the ancient lores, or people keep on saying, I am from the OBC and the scheduled caste. We are not talking about scheduled caste and scheduled tribe over here. We are talking about the 4 divisions which God has done. And it is not about a person lower in order or higher in order. Man, I am a Chamhar, I am a Lohar, so I come from the the Shudra family. Sorry, we are not talking about those type of people. No, we are talking about the 4 divisions which God has made. So we are going to go as per the 4 divisions and the order of life. What kind of order of life? We have multiple orders of life that we are going to further split it down into. We have all those. What are they? Like Prakriti has dissolved this into 3 forms, where Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. In the first group also there can be a Sattvic or a Tamasic person. Who says there can't be? So all these divisions are there. So in these divisions, what is mentioned over here is, by discharging the prescribed duty according to our caste divisions and the life, whatever that has come to us very, very naturally, we will be pleasing the personality of Godhead, that is Krishna. Therefore, with one pointed attention, ekagrata, one pointed attention, our mind is always going here, there, 50 चीजें चल रही हैं अपने आजू बाजू में. So many things are disturbing us right around us. All those things that are disturbing us should not be there. So it has to be a single pointed focus. A person is completely into it. So do not have your mind in 100 other things. So with one pointed attention, one should constantly hear about, glorify, remember and worship the personality of Godhead, who is the protector of the devotees. So these are the things that you are supposed to do. You are supposed to glorify, you are supposed to say the prayers, keep on praising him, that is the most important thing. Remember, always remember God, Krishna, 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 and worship. With sword in hand of discrimination, intelligent men cut through the binding knots of reactionary work by means of remembering the personality of Godhead. Therefore, who will not pay attention to his message? This book is his message, message of Krishna. How do you do it? Use the sword of discrimination. Cut it. Know the real from the unreal. Who is real? Only Krishna is real. Rest everything is unreal. Intelligent men, we will cut the reactionary knots. What is the reactionary knots? The karma that we perform. We have described three kinds of karma over here. Correct? One is accumulated, one is present day, and one is the futuristic. So with this knowledge of discrimination, cut through the knots. Okay? Granthi, knots. And then you will, by remembering him, by remembering this Krishna, you will be in a position to reach him. What wise born sages? By serving those devotees who are completely freed from all vices, great service is done. By such service, one gains affinity by hearing the message of Vasudeva. So, by doing service unto the devotee. Who is the devotee? The sage. So here, who is the devotee that he is talking about? Sutta Goswami is talking about himself. All the sages are performing devotional service to Sutta Goswami. They are sitting, they are praising him, they are listening to him. Any person who is listening to this kind of discourses are doing devotional service. So when they do this kind of devotional service, one gains affinity to Krishna himself. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. Who is the Paramatma? In everybody's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his message, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. So when you are going to hear this message, when you keep on hearing these messages, what is this message? It has to be single pointed. If there are hundreds of things going around you, that is not called listening with devotional service. I am sorry. You are not paying attention at all. Where is the single pointed attention? Everything is going around you. No. Ekagrata, absolute one pointedness. When you listen to these messages one pointedly, then what happens? This Krishna who lives in your heart and who is the one who knows this truth, he is the final truth. Didn't I say this? So he is the final truth. He will himself cleanse you. Remember, we said pure heart. When you listen with the pure heart, so he will clean you from inside. हार्पिक डाल के क्लीन करेगा तुम्हारा फ्लश किया हुआ सब क्लीन कर देता है. So he will clean this devotee. What he will do? He will remove these desires, material worldly desires. He is himself going to remove all your material worldly desires. So you become dispassionate. Who does this? Krishna does this. When you offer him devotional service, he cleanses you, cleans you up. So you no longer have any desires of any kind in this world. तुम ऐसा भी नहीं सोचोगी कि मुझे कुछ करना है, ऐसा नहीं सोचोगी कि मुझे पैसे बनाने हैं, ऐसा भी नहीं सोचोगी कि मुझे अच्छे कपड़े चाहिए, ऐसा भी नहीं सोचोगी कि मैं शादी करके बच्चे पैदा करूंगा और घर बसाऊंगा. Nothing, no desires of any kind, not even a desire of death. Please understand, people, those who are completely lost, you know what they say? I want death. मुझे अगर मौत आएगी तो कितना अच्छा होगा. I'm sorry, that stupid desire is also there in people. You will find there are lots of people around us who will also say ना कि है ना मुझे इससे छुटकारा दिलाओ भगवान, मुझे इससे निकाल के लेके जाओ, मुझे एक मौत मिलेगी तो अच्छी बात है. अरे एक मौत मिलेगी नहीं, तुमको एक मौत के बाद है ना 1000 जिंदगियां मिलेगी. Please understand this. He is, the moment you say give me one death, I'm sorry, he is going to grant you 1,000 lives after that. So please don't ask for such type of things. It's not right. So what will he give you? He will give you the urge to listen. These words are very important. He will give you this urge to listen. He will remove all the kacharapatti from you, all the desires that are there. And then what he will give you? He will give you this great urge to listen to this knowledge, to his message, which are themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. So you've got to hear these messages very, very properly. Mind अगर इधर उधर घूमते रहेगा ना तो you will not going to listen to these words properly at all. By regular
just quick question. So what is the emphasis on chanting here? Do you elaborate on that?
No,
you said
no.
the words are, or it's Just a.
No
So
chanting.
okay.
No chanting.
Okay.
See, see what happens is, now think about it. Early in the morning, your wife is singing, ए ए ए ए ए ए ए ए ऐसा करके है ना, वो सलमान खान का गाना सो बोल रही है, या बच्चा तुम्हारा बोल रहा है. You know that? So early in the morning है ना, 12 महीने से 12 तरीके से, ये ऐसा बच्चा गा रहा है. And you know what you do? तुम कार ड्राइव कर रहे हो, 12 महीने से 12 तरीके से, उल्लू का पट्टा साला बीच में आता है, सिग्नल नहीं दिखता है क्या तेरे को? फिर ऑफिस में जाते हो, उधर भी वही चालू, वो पूरा दिन तुम्हारा वही चालू. You come back home also, you are still singing that same damn song, and you wonder कि यार ये क्या सवेरे से बकवास सॉन्ग मैं सिंग कर रहा हूँ. At the end of the day, when your wife is looking at you and you are smiling, 12 महीने से 12 तरीके से, वाइफ बोलेगी ये पागल क्या है, तुम्हारा क्या चला है, अभी रात को भी गा रहे हो. बोला यार, tomorrow I have to tell my son, don't sing such type of songs when I am going out. What has happened is the song has sunk inside of you and it becomes your own song. So your heart sings. So chanting is the process of getting the word. Remember the word, we started with the word which is outside is ringing inside of you. So that Krishna, the word outside, is Krishna, the word inside. It is in consonance. It is actually vibrating at the same level. You don't have to say the word after that. The word is now embedded in you. Okay, so chanting becomes that. So, by regular attendance in class on the Bhagavatam and the rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established is an irrevocable fact. Yeah, I will answer that. Now what do you do? See, I told you ना, keep attendance. मैंने तो ऐसे ही हवे में बोला था, ये बुक में भी वही बोलता है, by regular attendance in class. कृष्णा बोल रहा है बॉस, मैं कुछ नहीं बोल रहा हूँ. So you better have better, full attendance. तुम लोग का मैं वो ये no bunking of classes, of course. So you need to have regular attendance in class of the Bhagavatam and by rendering service. मतलब कल से मैं मेरा डब्बा रखने वाला हूँ, उसमें डालते रहना तुम. So by rendering service, तो अपने को क्लास का चार्ज करना पड़ेगा ना. Bhagavatam class charges, weekly charges so and so, monthly charges so and so. So this is what it is. By regular attendance and by rendering service of the pure devotee, all that is troublesome in the heart is completely destroyed. Everything that is troubling you, please understand this is the truth. Everything that is troubling you will be completely eradicated. It will go away. These are Krishna's words. Please do not discount the words. They are very, very important. And loving service unto the personality of Godhead. Loving service to Krishna. Krishna को service करना बहुत जरूरी है. How do you do it? By singing songs. See what he says. Who is praised with transcendental songs. उसके भक्ति गीत गाओ, उसके बारे में प्रार्थना करो, उसको अर्पण करना, sing songs. So I think Kalpana is listening to what is happening over here. So you know now why bhajans are so important, why kirtans are so important, why singing songs are so important. It is mentioned in the Bhagavatam. Who is praised with transcendental songs is established as an irrevocable fact. Please understand this. This person will be fully established in Krishna himself. As soon as, are we extending? It's okay, no? I am in verse 19, 32 तक जाने का है, पहुंच जाएंगे हम लोग. हाँ, एक और 10 मिनट लगेगा. As soon as this irrevocable loving service is established in the heart, the effect of nature's mode of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire and hankering disappears from the heart. Then the devotee is established in goodness and becomes completely happy. I don't think this verse requires an explanation. This is telling you clearly, the moment you have this irrevocable loving service established in your heart, then what happens? All the modes of passion, all these material worldly passion, ignorance that is there is completely gone. Then there is no lust, there is no desire, there is no hankering after anything. मुझे ये चाहिए, वो चाहिए, वो चाहिए, कुछ नहीं लगा. Everything will disappear from the heart. Your heart will become absolutely pure. Then the devotee is established in goodness and he becomes completely happy. Thus established in the mode of unalloyed goodness, the man whose mind has been enlivened by contact with devotional service to the Lord gains positive scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead in the stage of liberation from all material associations. So by listening to the words of the Bhagavatam, he has unalloyed devotion to this Lord. There is no other person in between you and the Lord. Single pointed, direct line hai. In between koi bhi nahi hai. So, the man whose mind has been enlivened by contact with devotional service to the Lord gains positive scientific knowledge. This knowledge is a proven knowledge. Please understand this, and I am going to give you this proven knowledge. Because this knowledge, like I told you, there are three kinds of knowledges that are there. The first one listens to it as a story. The second one is a person who is going to take out religion out of it. And the third one is going to take the truth out of it. And we are sitting over here to know the truth about these things. Okay? So that is what we are going to get to finally. And it was mentioned in the previous lines also that you will get the absolute truth if you listen to it single-pointedly. And the liberation from all material associations. Thus the knot in the heart is pierced, Hriday Granthi as we call it, break ho gaya, and all misgivings are cut to pieces. The doorway is opened. Okay? मतलब कौन बनेगा करोड़पति को कितने बार ट्राई किया है? कुछ नहीं तो 50 बार ट्राई करने के बाद कभी एक बार नंबर लगता है. 50 नहीं 50,000 बार. So here we are having this where the knot of the heart, that means the doorway is opening. The chain of fruitive actions is terminated when one sees the self as master. So finally, this doorway opens and then you see this inner self reflecting as the knowledge which is coming to you just now through the Bhagavatam is the same knowledge. So outside knowledge and inside knowledge will match. So now I think you will get the gist of what I wrote today. The inside knowledge and the outside knowledge will be the same, and you will nod your head and say yes, 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 I agree with you. Certainly, therefore, since time immemorial, all transcendentalists have rendered devotional service to Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, with great delight, because such devotional service is enlivening to the self. So, render devotional service to Krishna. The transcendental Krishna is indirectly associated with three modes of material nature, namely passion, goodness, and ignorance, and just for the material worldly creation, maintenance, and destruction. He accepts the three qualities form of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Of these three, all human beings are derived ultimate benefit from Vishnu, the form of quality of goodness. I think I explained this in the beginning that the Krishna in the first domain is becoming Krishna in the second domain, that is the middle layer, and in the middle layer he takes these three forms, and the Prakriti, that is what I call the spirit, isn't it? Maya, or what we call as Radha, she has converted into powers. So all these powers are there at play. So he himself has taken the three forms. One is of the creator, Brahmaji, Vishnu, sustainer, and the third one is Mahesh, or as we call him Shiva, destruction. So he takes all these forms and benefit from Vishnu the quality of goodness. Firewood is transformation of earth, but smoke is better than raw wood, and fire is still better, for by fire we can derive benefits of superior knowledge through Vedic sacrifices. Similarly, passion is better than ignorance, but goodness, sattva, is better, because by goodness one can come to realize the absolute truth. He has given one example. Firewood, when it is burnt, becomes coal. Coal, when it is burnt, becomes ash. But if there is smoke over there, it's going to cause you problems. So no, the firewood has to completely burn. So you have to completely destroy all these past tendencies and all these things that are there. and become pure. And here he is talking about tamas, that's the three modes of prakriti. Tamas is the lowest, middle is rajas, and the highest is the sattva. Sattva will lead you to absolute truth. Previously, all the great sages rendered service unto Krishna due to his existence above the three modes of material nature. They worshipped him to become free from material conditions and thus derive the ultimate benefit. Whoever follows such great authorities is also eligible for liberation from the material world. So in the ancient times, sages also told you about the kind of service that you can do to Krishna himself. Those who are serious about liberation are certainly non-envious and they respect all. Never become envious of another person. If somebody is earning $100 and you are earning $50 and somebody else is earning $10, डॉलर्स में बोल रहा हूँ लेकिन रुपीज में कन्वर्ट करो. किसी को ₹1,00,000 का सैलरी है, किसी को 50,000 का सैलरी है, किसी को 5,000 का सैलरी है या किसी को ₹500 का सैलरी है. Don't become envious of anybody. What you have to be envious about is the amount of service that you can do to Krishna. Do the highest form of service to Krishna. अरे वो ₹1,00,000 का नहीं, unending इतना सर्विस करो. Yet they reject the horrible and the ghastly forms of the demigods and worship only the all blissful forms of Lord Vishnu and his plenary portions. I explained to you again, Krishna in various portions are there. Okay, in the second domain, what has happened? Multiple visions of his are there. There is a Narayana, there is a Satyanarayana, there is a Vishnu, there is a Mahavishnu, there is Kurma avatar, there is this avatar, there so many avatars are there. Whom are you going to worship? Let us take all the avatars at face value and let us worship the divine personality. That is the final Krishna that we are talking about. So plenary portions means all his split up portions. Okay. Those who are in the modes of passion and ignorance worship the forefathers, other living beings and the demigods who are in charge of cosmic activities, for they are urged by desire to be materially benefited with women, wealth, power and progeny. What do every person does, you know? एस्ट्रोलॉजर, पामिस्ट, इसके पास उसके पास पंडित जी के पास जाके बॉस मैं कौन सा पूजा करूंगा तो क्या मिलेगा. It's all wrong. That's all not the truth. Please do not go and ask anybody anything. There is no God in that. So can you please leave that thing? In the revealed scriptures, the ultimate object of knowledge is Sri Krishna. The purpose of performing sacrifice is to please him, not to please any other god anywhere else. Yoga is realizing him. You should realize only him. All fruitive activities are ultimately rewarded by him only. His supreme knowledge and severe austerities are performed to know him. Religion is rendering loving service unto him. He is the supreme goal of life. This line is explaining everything to you. It is telling you, boss, किधर भी मत जाओ, एक ही जगह पे आ जाओ. Render religion is all about praising Krishna. Don't go praising somebody else somewhere. There is no point. That's it. One single pointed devotion rakho. In the beginning of the material creation, the absolute personality of Godhead Vasudeva, in his transcendental position, created the energies of cause and effect for his own internal energy. So what he did? So that you should understand this, in the beginning of time, he created cause and effect. That means he created this world for your benefit. Okay. After creating the material substance, the Lord expanded himself and entered into it. And although he is within the material modes of nature and appears to be one with the created beings, he is always fully enlightened in his transcendental position. So now, Krishna number 1, Krishna number 2, Krishna number 3, Krishna number 4, anywhere that he is going, he is always an enlightened person. He is not a person who is not enlightened. वो ऐसा सोच के मत जाओ कि है ना उसको कुछ आता नहीं, दफर है. No, he is always enlightened. He is full of knowledge everywhere. Okay. So he has created all these worlds, and I have explained this line to you right at the beginning. The Lord as super soul pervades all things. Just as fire permeates wood, so he appears to be in many varieties, though he is the absolute one without a second. Like I said, the spirit is in everybody in the form of soul. Everybody has a soul, isn't it? So he is the super soul, and the spirit is there in you also. The spirit is that which runs. Do not mix up soul and spirit in one. Huh? Got it? Spirit और soul अलग अलग चीज है. नहीं तो बोलेगा spirit soul है. No. The super soul enters into the bodies of the created beings who are influenced by the modes of material nature and cause them to enjoy the effects of these modes by the subtle mind. So divine consciousness is also in you, is also in there. So this divine consciousness, as if it is entering a bottle, as if it is entering a bottle. Remember, I had given you this example. The bottle got created, ice, suddenly in the middle of the ocean. The water inside the ice and outside is one and the same. So suddenly out of nowhere this bottle was created, that is this body of yours. So the super soul means Paramatma, or what we call as the Father, or what we call as Krishna. He is the one in everybody. So the Lord of the universe maintains all planets inhabited by demigods, men and lower animals. Assuming the roles of incarnation, he performs pastimes to reclaim those in the modes of pure goodness. So what does he do? He is present in everywhere in his own incarnation. So please do not think that his incarnation is not there. In every place his incarnation is there. Krishna is always present, never absent. Okay, so this is the end of the chapter 2. So any questions? I can take 1 or 2 questions maybe, and you can stop.